things that really helps so much is direction. This direction thing is great. And we get caught up in all this stuff. And if we can keep the direction of why really clear, it levels the whole thing. And I think I've shared this story with you guys before, but I'll share it with you again. It was more, for me in that case, this story is more about fear than anger, but it doesn't really matter. You can plug in whatever emotion, it doesn't matter what it is, because it's all just seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, feeling. So, that's all going really, really fast. And we call it fear, desire, anger, whatever, because we haven't let go of the storyline. We haven't dropped down into the moment to moment experience of that raw seeing, sees, hearing, hears, thing. But for me, this was one of the most powerful experiences that ever happened to me in my life. And it was, I was in Berlin. I was a brand new teacher. And at that time, we didn't have the internet and digital anything. So it was like they would put up flyers. If a teacher came to town, remember back in the days, some of you older students, we'd make millions of little flyers on 8.5 by 11, like things like Dharma Talk, George Bowman, Dharma Talk, Bobby Rhodes, or like if Ola came over from Poland or something, Ola Porter, Gito Popsy, and we'd staple them to all the phone poles and everything. So this was my first teaching trip ever by myself, without being with Sansanim and sort of just letting him do all the heavy lifting. And I just get to sit there and watch and learn. So there was like this rival Zen faction in Germany. I don't know who they were exactly, but our school had put up pictures of me, and it said Quantum, Zen Center Berlin, talk at such and such a place on a Friday night or whatever. And they were all over town. And this rival faction group, which sounds really stupid, but I don't know who they were, but they put up contrasting posters all over town too, that said, oh, another one has fallen from the sky. Like that Sansanin was making so many teachers that we were just like confetti coming out of the sky, and we were shallow, and another like, baseless, person with the title who isn't deserving of it. That was kind of the message. So I was like super nervous going into this talk, because there was all of this buildup towards it. And I remember Zen Master Wu Bong and I were both like writing letters to this other guy and saying, put it all down. There was this whole thing going on. And we all kind of thought we were living in the century before or something. But anyway, the night came. I was sitting on a stage. It had huge, like red velvet, heavy curtains. There were so many people there. It was a huge, huge auditorium. It was like hundreds of people there. And I thought I was going to either vomit or like poop my pants, like, or both, because everything inside of me was like liquefying, so that relates to you, because that's what strong anger feels like. That's what strong fear feels like. That's what strong desire can feel like. It's just strong physical stuff inside. And I was like, oh my God, what do they think of me? And it was all coming from me wanting to prove that I was a good teacher, or me wanting to give the good talk. So all of this like thing, and the curtains were still closed, and I could hear the crowd over there and stuff. And I didn't even think I'd be able to talk. I was so upset. And then something happened. These benevolent words came out of the universe to me from nowhere, and they said, nothing to prove, nothing to defend. And it was like a gift. And it just says nothing to prove, nothing to defend. And then everything inside of me just relaxed. And furthermore, the next thought that came was, you are not here to prove something about I am, or I, my, me. This isn't about you. This is about the Dharma and how helpful it was for me, then for sure in those hundreds of people out there, it's going to help somebody, because they wouldn't have showed up here if they weren't looking for that, right? And it was the best gift I ever got, so why wouldn't I share that? So the whole thing turned around to this, again, back to Sunsteam's teaching, the whole thing turned around to only for you mind, instead of protecting this I mind, right? And it really like flipped. And it didn't come out of like any kind of trying to be holy. It came out organically from, I think, all the years of, listening to Zen Master Sungsan and practicing and all that stuff, and just being open to hearing that. So whenever I get in those situations, I'm certainly not perfect at it, and fail 99% of the time. But boy, for that 1% of the time, it's such a relief when we can flip it around to only for you. And it levels all that stuff inside of us. So it's kind of like, take away the I, my, me, flip it around only for you. It's like, if I can do something here that benefits you, great. And if not, okay. But that's the direction you want to go in. It helps so much, because it reroutes that whole focus to that bodhisattva direction. So that person who's causing you that or whatever, do the Pema Chodron thing first, well, not Pema Chodron, but like the Buddhist thing that talks about that. Drop the storyline, get in touch with like what's going on in your body, moment to moment to moment, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, and then flip that direction away from this I, my, me to the other person. It really works. When it works, when we can do it, when we can remember to do it, it works. The times we don't remember is when, then we're going to stay all caught up in our particular thing, which happens a lot too. But practicing isn't about so much always getting it right. It's about always trying. So we might, hold. We get that rolled up piece of paper, right? Holding. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Finally, we remember, let it go. So the more we practice, the more times we're able to stop this clenching, this holding, and then the more we can keep letting go, I think the more we become like the sky and the tree and the dog and the cat and the river and the mountains, just doing our job. Like Juliana was talking about, that's the ground. And it's funny, all things are created by mind alone, right? So that story about, she had written to me about it, but I can relate to it, because a lot of times the ground is right there, but we're making up so much story that we can't just step on it. So if we can let go of the story, then we're free.